Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the She Who Dares podcast. We have a very special guest for you today, Beck Smith, the founder of Beam in Business, the creator of Beam Awards, a national platform built to make small businesses visible, valued, and impossible to ignore. A media and visibility strategist, a mother of five. It's amazing, Beck, that you've built what you've built also as a mother of five. Beck has grown Beam, the brand, the company, from a virtual event which started in 2021 to a multi-day national festival that attracts entrepreneurs and women in business all over Australia in every state. You do awards, you do media, you do community. And what I love about you, Beck, is you are the true embodiment of a woman who is constantly shining a light on other women, handing other women the microphone, getting other women on stage as they can share their voice, their power. So it's such an honor because I recently spoke at one of your events. Thank you so much for having me. And I remember sitting there helping you do the gift bags. And I was like, I want to know about your story. I want to know how you have built what you have built. And I was like, I'm not going to ask you now. I'm going to have you on the podcast and I'm going to ask you all the questions so I can learn about who you were before, how you built what you've built. And just honestly, I just wanted to shine the spotlight back on you because you are just so selfless and constantly giving everyone else the spotlight.
Welcome to the She Who Dares podcast. I'm your host, Crystal Wilson, the founder of She Who Dares. I'm a specialized breakthrough and mindset coach, business mentor, online course creator, and your number one no BS hype woman. I'm here to remind you who the fuck you are and reignite your personal power through powerful and expanding conversations on all things business, mindset, and energetics to help you break through to your next level of success in all areas of your life, business, and bank account. Each episode is designed to expand your mind, shift your identity, raise your frequency, as well as give you success strategies to help you step into your highest, most powerful, abundant, successful, and magnetic you. So, I dare you to join me each episode, and I double dare you to implement what you learn and go all in on you. All in on your life, your business, your success. Because if you do, like so many of my She Who Dares clients and students, you will become everything that you know deep down you can be. Ready? Let's friggin' do this.
Welcome to the podcast, Beck.
Oh, thank you so much. How ironic is it that you were one of my first guests in Brisbane and I was going through our 5-year birthday with Beam and you popped up, like I have to scroll through 38,000 photos on my phone and there was a photo of you and I'm just like, you haven't changed. I mean, you've grown, you've gone through all the different stages in your life, but I just feel like you're the same amazing human being and I'm grateful to be here today. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Beck. I remember that event. How funny is that? I was like a really small sponsor of that event, like putting things in your gift bag for that event in Brisbane. It's so interesting because even though we are in each other's world, we did kind of lose contact just off doing our own things. And then it was in like August last year, you were in my inbox saying, tell me what you're doing. I think you can see my event. And I was like, I would love to. And we've just been connected ever since. So what I want to ask you, what I'm most interested in is I want to take you way back to the very beginning, right? Because I've watched you and watched what you've built. It's so inspirational and it's just getting bigger and more momentum is just, following Being in Business, Beam Awards every year. But before Being was Being, before all the rooms were filled, before the brand was national, who were you? What were you doing? Who was Beck Smith? What was happening in your life when that first seed dropped in that you could build what you built?
It's funny that you say that, like going way back and reflecting on why I guess I am here today. And it got to the point that I wanted to have conversations with people that weren't just my friends and family. And like, I mean close friends, because I've met friends now that were strangers once online, and now I see them as my very close family, you know, people that I can pick up the phone to. And the reason and where I was when I started, it all come back to network marketing. Now, I know there's a lot of, you know, different angles on what people think of that. However, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for network marketing. And oh, how funny though. We're in the same business and we didn't even know each other then as well. I guess the 6 degrees of separation, you know, you get to know all these different people and their backgrounds. But network marketing for me was opening up a space where I could really be myself and learn in the personal development world. However, I didn't see myself on stage. I seen all these other amazing people on stage, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to host an event and get people to like, know, and trust me that if they ever needed a solution to one of their problems, I had that. However, that stopped on the very first event that I hosted. And I'm like, I'm done with network marketing. I want to put more women in the spotlight. I want to create events. And that's where Beam has grown from.
Amazing. And it started, just to give our listeners some context, I was at the first in-person event in Brisbane in 2021, which was a great event. There was maybe 50 women there, maybe a little bit more. Yeah. And now, just to give us some context of where your largest events are going, like how many women are you getting in a room now when you're filling out a full room?
We're up to 200 people in a room for Beam Awards, being like the biggest event. Well, we only have one event for Beam Awards, and that's the awards gala. However, yeah, starting back, you know, it was babes, bubbles, and business. And it's so funny because people thought that they had to have babies to come along. And I'm like, no, it's babes, hot babes. If you're a hot babe in business and you want to have a bubbles, like come along. And it grew from that into Beam and business. And Beam, if you don't know, is another word for shine. And we want to shine in business. And Beam is, I wanted something started with B and really short. And we got Beam. So yeah, it was fabulous to do that. But the events have grown from, that first event was 100 people. But it wasn't just women in business. So then the amazing COVID hit and we had to pivot really fast because we had an event in Emerald which crashed and we couldn't do it. So we're like, what are we doing now? Let's go virtual. And if it wasn't for being virtual and staying connected and being present, I don't think I'd be here today. So, you know, being able to see a problem and solve it. And that's what Beam's a part of as well. We help women solve problems, and the biggest one is visibility.
I love it. So we see the brand, right? Anyone who's connected to Beam is honestly like, as I sat in that room at Made You Look, which is your inaugural yearly event, where I was one of the keynote speakers, I sat in that room and I really saw, wow, I really felt it. Do you know what I mean? Like I knew what you had done, but being in that room and seeing it was just something really special. And what I saw was that Beam in business, Beam Awards, it's much deeper than that. It's really a family of women that have come together, and every single woman in that room is there because of what you've created. And I just really want to shine a light on that. So we see the brand, we see the rooms, I've seen the brand, I've seen your growth, we've seen the awards. I want to know, like, who do you have to become internally to hold this, to grow this? I know you've experienced highs and lows and pivots and failures and successes. So who have you had to become to step into this level of leadership and to build a company the size of the company that you've built?
I guess for me, it's always evolving, I guess, with Beck Smith and who I connect with and who I grow with. I feel like I find myself a little bit more each day. However, this year I've really stepped into the word expand, and that's expanding not just, well, I don't want to expand offers, I want to expand in who I am. And that means putting me more in the spotlight in a sense that, yes, I want to be okay with me being the leader and me being the creator without just putting other people in the spotlight, because I know that my story is powerful too. And I want to really feel that I have stepped into my leadership, into my own understanding of why I'm here, which will then attract more other women to be themselves as well.
Beautiful. And look, I'm going to give our listeners some context now about our journey together. And it's so interesting that you say that, because this is something that I have said to you as well. Do you know what I mean? In our business conversation, I'm like, Beck, like, I know you love giving everyone else the light, the microphone, the stage, but like what the thing that's missing now is like you taking center stage, your story, which is why I so wanted to interview you. So you were already leading national rooms, running Beam Media, Beam Awards, Beam Business. And you reached out to me. I was part of your major book inaugural event, one of the keynote speakers. But before that, in our connecting, you actually joined the She Who Dares Challenge. It was a 14-day challenge where I taught the 14 She Who Dares laws. I'd love to know what resonated for you over those 14 days, learning the laws and how you've applied them to your next level of success and growth and being in business.
It, like, in a nutshell, to finish something that I start. And I was more surprised that I didn't listen to it every day, but I caught up. And I always listened to you when I was on the treadmill. It was the best time for me because it was my time. It really intentional for me to be able to breathe in, doing exercise and personal development at the same time. So being able to finish something that I started was really important to me. However, you light me up in a different way that I haven't had anyone else land. Like the information, the empowerment that you gave to me through those laws has, really opened me up to go, I don't know if I can swear, but holy fuck, I actually am more powerful than what I'm giving myself credit for. And because, I've come from a really strong, well, not strong, I should say, a background of being bullied through high school and not fitting in. However, I've always stayed true to myself. I never wear a mask. I'm always who I am. And you'll see that I'll show up in my Shine Bright trucker hat to my Lorna Jane. I mean, this is Lorna Jane that I'm wearing as well, my singlet. However, it's pink and it's me. However, if it's not pink, I'm still feeling good to show up in that. And, being able to be okay that I don't look the part from what people think of running a national awards company or, a women in business event where women just feel they have to be the part to attend. Whereas if you show up more yourself, you're definitely going to feel more comfortable. You're going to learn more. And for me, that's what your laws helped me do more, which was,
I think as well, like, you would message me, Beck would listen to the law for the day and she'd be on the treadmill and she'd be like messaging me, send me a VM about like the download, the aha, the breakthroughs that you were having. You were like, holy fucking shit, Crystal, like just listen to this law and just share. It was amazing. I love getting that, like those VMs from you about like what was landing. And from there as well, what I really saw was that you're really good at, like, as I said, giving people a mic, giving people a stage, giving people a spotlight, and like, what can you do for others? Like, you're a natural connector. You're always thinking about what can I do? How can I support this person? What can we give them? And so I feel like the laws and our journey working together, you kind of now enter the She Who Dares world. Maybe it's the first time that you've really done something just for you. You know what I mean? You've been so selflessly giving to so many, like you're a mother of 5, you're a wife, you're a business owner. You've got so many women who rely on you to give them that spotlight. So I felt that there was just something really special about you keeping your promise to yourself, really gave yourself the 14 days, and it reminded you who the fuck you are and your power.
Yeah, and I'm grateful to you for doing that. And you don't just do it with me, you do it with so many others. And I see the transformations already with the other women in your group. And it's really, I don't know, it's like a big kiss on the heart or something. It's a good fuzzy feeling. And I love that. A lot of people talk about being authentic. I don't get the whole let's, get ready with me and putting the camera there for when you wake up out of bed. That's not authentic to me. Like I'm just like, let's just get on and talk about shit and just make stuff happen. Yeah. And I get the content creation world, but I just feel like being more authentic is doing the stuff that you do, but then talking about it. And maybe, I don't know, the voiceover things. I'm ranting here, but the point of it is if you just be yourself more, you're going to attract the people that you are going to be in your world a lot longer. And I think I've changed, but I've been still the same person in the last 6 years that you've known me. And I just want people to know, give yourself permission to be your own authentic and not have to follow a checklist of what you think society wants to see, because I break those rules.
I don't believe in those rules. I believe that the most embodied version of you, the most authentic version of you, and the truest version of you is the version of you who is going to have the most success. And I find, and you would see this working with so many women, but I see it in so many women, the hardest thing for women in this day and age who are online building businesses and service-based business, trying to figure out content, how to show up. It's like there is a fear to actually be our most authentic selves. And the true work is finding the you in it all, and not feeling like you have to, because we've all grown up. I was bullied really badly in school as well, and when you're bullied and you're made to feel like you're too much, too loud, too pink, whatever, it's like there is a part of you that thinks that, oh, I have to shift and change and be like her or them in order to be successful. And the unbecoming of all of that bullshit and just stepping into our most authentic self is where the real success is. So you do the laws, and then you actually stepped into my mastermind. We're actually in the mastermind right now, and that's She Who Dares in Business. I'm curious for you, like, you're obviously surrounded by incredibly powerful, successful women in business. What are you taking away from not facilitating that space, but for being led and facilitated in a mastermind?
Oh, I tell you, it's pushing my boundaries, even just to keep on track with. I feel like every 2 weeks comes up like that. It's so quick. And it's funny because there's women in the mastermind that are like, have you done your homework? And I'm like, don't be silly.
Are you saying Katie? Let's give Katie a shout out.
Well, it's Katie and Jess as well. And then Katie be like, stop calling me. Get on the call. And I'm like, holy, righto. And, I do have a lot going on, and I jam pack the start of my year. And I feel, honestly, I'm in a stage right now, I'm super overwhelmed, and I'm very reeling with everything that's going on. And I push so many boundaries with myself and I'm like, I'm not going to be able to do this. And then my mum says to me, so it always works out for you. And I'm like, it does. And I am really leaning into that, because I'm like, everything works out. Don't stress. There's a solution for almost every single problem, and it always works out. So, like ticket sales and ticket deposits and things like that's where my headspace is. So to be able to come back and go, okay, well, how do I work on this to be able to manage that better? It's a real test, but loving it, really loving it.
I think mentorship and putting ourselves in rooms. I always say, if you're the biggest fish in the pond that you're currently sitting in, you're in the wrong fucking pond. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So like getting ourselves in, which is really your ethos of being, right? We're bringing different women together. Like I sat in that room and it was like really amazing. There were women who were doing multi-million-dollar a year, billion-dollar businesses. And there were women who were just starting out. And I loved that kind of variety. And there was so much to learn. And I felt like it was just a really beautiful space. And I suppose what I love is, you jumped into the laws in my mastermind. We've also done some one-to-one strategy sessions. And I received really amazing feedback from you as well, as somebody who is surrounded by such a variety of powerful, strong, driven, capable, very successful women. Some of the feedback that you gave to me is like, wow, like we're seeing things so differently. You know what I mean? Having a fresh perspective, which is super cool for you and your business and where you're going to take it. And something about you, Beck, is you only actually have evidence of figuring it always the fuck out. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, I know you. I know the things that you juggle, and I know sometimes it's within an inch of its life, but you always land on your feet. You always figure it out, and you actually only ever have evidence of that. And so the level of trust that you should have in yourself to be able to back yourself to know that I just got to keep going, Absolutely.
And, like with Vanessa always says, you're either going to sell your business or shut it down. And, like I really push on the boundary of burning it all to the ground and going, see ya. But then what scares me out of that is going to work a 9 to 5. And there's no flipping way I will ever go back to working a 9 to 5, and everything will work out because I'm here for more. And I love what I do, and I love the people I'm surrounded by. And don't get me wrong, I love the conversations. I'm not a small talk person. I love to talk strategy, next step, problem solving, what's on the agenda, where are we going, when's our next trip. I get excited about that stuff all the time. And I want to see more women choosing themselves. And to do that, they need to have the freedom. And that comes to making more money. So that's what I aim to do all the time.
Let's talk about the messy middle years. Like, you've navigated so many different things, building, being in business, being awards. What were some of the unglamorous years like? The doubt, the financial pressures, the juggle of being a mum of 5. What are some of the things that maybe people don't know, that while you've been building this, you've also had to navigate this and overcome this and pivot here?
Yeah, so straight off the bat, like believing in someone that took advantage of my future goals and my network for their own personal gain. And, you know, like spending, like at the time, I'm like, cool, that's a great price. So $5,500, right, for a logo. And that was for Beam magazine. So when we launched Beam magazine, COVID had just gone. We couldn't have events, and I still want to shine the light on women in business. And we thought, well, if we can't have events, we want to be able to do that through stories. So we created Beam magazine. And then I'm like, well, Babes, Bubbles and Business needs a new name as well. Let's align that with something. So the $5,500 for Beam, as you would know, Beam is one word at the top, and then it's got magazine down the bottom. I had to pay another $5,500 to take out magazine and put in business. And I didn't even get the branding kit and the guide and all the things. I had to follow that up later on. However, new in business, no one to talk to, no support. So what do? You just pay it. You just pay it and keep going. Part of that was strategy. And the strategy was like, oh, hey, I'm just cooking dinner, and her screaming at her kids in the background, or talking to her husband and charging me like insane amounts for a monthly thing. So having these things now and looking back, massive red flags to anybody that's seasoned in business, but not knowing is the hardest part. So for me, I want to be able to share these things. And there's a lot of things I can't share legally that I've been dealing with over the last 2 years. And Crystal, you know a few of those things. But believing in people and looking up to some people that take you for a ride, and then confiding in people that you miss their language as well. My biggest lesson is asking more questions and not saying yes and seeing this big shiny object, because it can, financially almost kill you, and it almost has me, and I'm still reeling from it massively. However, if I didn't have the women in business that I'm surrounded with around, I wouldn't be here, because I wouldn't have been able to get everything that's heavy on my head and heart out. And just being able to do that has been a game changer for me. And I think that's why I'm still here.
Yeah, I think there's such a great lesson in that as well. It's like, I always say this, I've learned nothing from my greatest successes. And I've had some really fucking big successes where I've built character, resilience, and become really fucking good in business is through my fuck ups, my failures, the times that I've been knocked down. And so I really like to take those situations and know that there's lessons to be learned. Like, everything I'm experiencing is for my higher good. If I stay in my victimhood of this thing that happened to me, I don't learn the lesson. But if I take the shitty thing that happened and I'm like, cool, what do I need to take responsibility for? Law number 2 of the She Who Dares Law, like, how am I responsible for this? How do I let this go? What do I need to learn and move on? And I feel that experience for you, shitty, so common though. As someone who works with a lot of women in business, like, it's really shocking how common those things happen to other women in business, and it can really rattle you, but it's what we do with it.
Yeah.
It's what we do with it, and it's what we learn from it and how we grow from it. And I really see that, like, shitty thing that happened to you, but you've taken something shitty, hasn't slowed you the fuck down, has it?
No, sped me up more than anything. So.
Yeah, exactly. Beautiful. Okay, amazing. So where is Beam going next? Like, what's the vision? Obviously, it's already massive, but I know you, like, more. You're a racehorse. You're like, where are we going? So I want to know, what's the next evolution of Beam? What is that bigger vision that's kind of pulling you forward with Beam in business?
So as I said earlier, my word for this year is expand, and I'm not expanding any offers. I'm expanding the reach. And for me, it's going into more places, into more networks, and really shining light on Beam. Who is Beam? What do we do? And the more and more people that find me, they're like, oh, I didn't even know you existed. That is a dialogue that I just want to squash. So until I've got to as 100,000 women knowing who we are, and I mean, there's probably that many women that do know us, but they don't know what we do. So for me, I'm expanding on exactly the wording and the purpose of why we're here and making sure that Beam is a household name for women in business. And where do you come into? It could be the Pink Pages directory, which we're growing, which there's so much happening there. We've also got with the Beam Media shining, putting your stories out there, but moving Beam Awards to Melbourne for the first time, first event out of Queensland, is making me shit my pants almost, because it's an unknown. Like, I can go to Brisbane, sell out a room, but I've never been to Melbourne to sell out a room. So there's always that really high anxiety for me that, oh, who the fuck do you think you are, Beck, going to Melbourne and being in one of the major cities and all these things for small business and then filling a room? So yeah, for me, it's just expansion on people knowing who Beam is. I'm also wanting to build my tech company, which is probably the only thing that I'm really working on in the background, and something else, but that's coming to fruition maybe later in the year. So there's always expansion, there's always growth, there's always me pushing boundaries, but for more women to see the purpose and the why, and, that there's always a space for them in Beam is where I want to focus.
Yeah, I love it. And something that I always say to you is that Beam is this beautiful big family, but everyone in that room, when I sat in that room, was there because of you. And I really feel that part of Beam's next evolution is like founder led. Like, Beam is one thing, but if they know you, your story, like how you've created it, what your vision is, what your passion, I feel like that is going to be like that little missing secret sauce that takes it from where it is to where it's going to go. It's just such a powerhouse. You're a racehorse. Like, no one is stopping you from walking on anything else. And I want to see you on stage. I want to see you. I want to hear more about you, what you're doing, your vision, and your deeper purpose of bringing women together, and like why you created this. Is just why we're so grateful to have you on the podcast. I want to know, if you stripped away the brands, the events, the awards, what do you want women to say about the way that they feel through Beam? Like, what's really important to you?
That they're being heard. For me, I feel like there's a lot of rooms that people sit back and they just feel that they're just part of the furniture. And I don't like that, because you can put your hand up, you can ask questions, you can network, you can move seats, you can, reach out to me. I always say I'm an open book. And I mean that in a way that DM me, email me, find my phone number, ring me. And, hey, Beck, I'm actually turning up to this event by myself and I'm really shit scared. I want to know that stuff, because I'm going to pair you with someone, or, I'll take you under my wing. There's always someone in the room that will be there, and I want you to be heard, whether or not that's on stage, through media or whatever. But if you're in a room at Beam, let people know that you're there. Don't sit in your chair and don't. I really think that your voice needs to be heard in some way, shape or form. And if I don't know you and you don't come up to me and say, hey, I'm, whoever, Mary Jane Blogs, I want to know you, Beck, and this is what I do, then I'm not going to get to know you. And, the little thing that I heard as feedback from the Major Look event was, Beck, you made sure everyone had a biscuit. And I said, well, what do you mean? I'm like, well, everyone had a biscuit, but you made sure that the people that were gluten intolerant or needed gluten-free, that there was a special biscuit for them, and those little touches. And that's what I do. I do pride myself on the little things, and the little things are making sure that you're being heard as well. So, because everybody has a story, and one way or another, I'm going to find out what it is. So yeah, that's big.
I love it. And I feel like for those of you who are listening and you are a woman in business, you're a female founder, it's lonely. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've worked for myself for over 11 years in the online space, in service-based business. And something that I really felt in that room was, this is such a great place for women in business to be. Like, not only do you learn so much, you've got incredible speakers, there's so much to be learned from the women speaking on stages, the women sitting beside you, but even more deeper and more important, that is this community and this connectiveness and this place where it is safe. And I feel like a lot of, like, Beck, you shared that you were bullied. I was bullied in school. I was definitely a misfit. I was someone who felt like I didn't quite fit in anywhere. I felt different. I moved differently to other people. And I feel like that's a lot of entrepreneurial women. And so then that kind of plays out a little bit when we become an entrepreneur. We're then working alone, building alone. And so someone like yourself who's bringing women together, it's really important. So I love what you said about, if you've never been to an event, or you want to start networking, you want to start putting yourselves in rooms where you can connect with other like-minded women in business, Beam in Business and Beam events and awards is such a great place for you to start. Reach out to Beck, let her know that you're coming, add yourself to the Being in Business Facebook group. It's such a beautiful community. You'll be so held, so supported. And you might meet your business bestie there. So many other women. I mean, I took quite a few of like She Who Dares community to Made You Look, and they are just all connected. And now the Beam in Business and the She Who Dares world is like, one big happy family. It's really good.
Competition. There's literally no competition. And, like, I just feel like we're all unique in our own ways, that we've got our own offers. And even if there's a million coaches, right? So, and who lands with you, and you might meet that next opportunity or that next person that's going to take you to where you need to be. And if you're not in rooms, not just Beam rooms, but any women in business rooms, why not? So ask yourself, why not? And belly to belly, like, just, whoa, feels so good to be in a room and dress up and, all the things. Like, events are life for me, and I'd be lost without them.
I have one final question for you, Beck. What would the 18-year-old version of you think of the woman that you could become and everything you've built with Being in Business?
Oh, look at you. Look at your style. I just feel like I've got this image in my head, and it's me wearing these, I think they're blue Oakley sunnies. And because I was obviously a lot bigger back then, and these little glasses are like this big, and I'm wearing this man t-shirt working for a photocopier company. And she would just be like, look how much you've grown just in your style. And that's due to, being surrounded and loving now pink.
Do you feel like you really come into your own, like found your, there's a version of you that was maybe more in her masculine, you more in your feminine now, wearing the colors that you want to wear, and you found yourself in that sense?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And I
do it with the Oakley glasses and maybe the football setup. Could you have seen yourself building what you've built?
Definitely not. No. I always thought I'd work for someone for the rest of my life. And
until you work for someone, you're like, fuck that. Yeah. I'm building my own.
Oh, and I've grown up in, a male-dominated industry, being in mining and, being around all of the workers and stuff on mine sites, and then driving trucks, like haul trucks in the coal mines, was insane. And something I'll never do again, because women aren't appreciated as much. We're seen as a hindrance, So it's interesting, the evolution of Beck Smith and where I'm at, but everything comes back to customer service and to helping people, and shining a light just come naturally to me, because I want to see people win and get what they deserve and what they want in life. So yeah, that's the evolution of Beck Smith.
That. And I think that's why we connect, because I love shining a light on other people. I love giving women their flowers. I love clapping and celebrating. I love seeing women have more success than me. And I haven't always been like that. Do you know what I mean? There was a more wounded version of me that didn't have the capacity to love or support or cheer. I was definitely more in my head and more of a jealous person. But the version that I've become, I feel like we connect on that. And that's why I so wanted to have you on the podcast. I'm like, somebody needs to give Beck her flowers. Somebody needs to give Beck the microphone. Somebody get Beck on the fucking stage. I want to hear her story. As I said, sitting at Made You Look, after I'd spoken and really just taking in the room, I was really blown away by you and what you have built. And I just want to celebrate you. So thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
And sharing your story and your wisdom with us.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much for joining me for today's episode. If you loved this episode, be sure to share that with me by leaving me a review, and head over to the She Who Dares official Instagram account at She Who Dares Official, hit follow, slide into my DMs, and share with me the impact this episode has had on you. And before you go, I'm going to leave you with this. The universe is responding to you. It is following your lead. You are the one who has to move first. And when you do, the whole universe will move with you, because it's I lead, the universe follows. When I move, the universe moves with me. That is our official She Who Dares mantra. I want you to write it down, put it on a mirror, and I want you to remind yourself of it every day. When I lead, the universe follows. When I move, the universe moves with me. When you follow this She Who Dares mantra, you are going to unlock the magic of the universe, and you are stepping into your most powerful self. I can't wait to see you for the next episode. Thanks for being here.